Welcome to Ken's Kitchen Sink. Today, I wanted to take a few moments to talk to you about springtime. First of all, springtime is meant for a couple things. We spring forward with our clock, which was last weekend. We also do some spring cleaning, and March is also a good time for March Madness. So I digress for a minute. Congratulations to UMUC, which translates now to You May Be Cinderella. They beat Virginia, the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament last night, which was pretty neat. So, in any event, that's my sports report for the day. But back to what we're here about. I want to take a few minutes to talk about a piece of software that's internet based. It's called YNAB, YNAB. That stands for You Need a Budget. And there's several videos and podcasts and things like that out there for YNAB, but it is a personal budgeting software for Mac, Windows, iOS, and it's really a pretty nice program that works rather well in helping you control your money and gain control of your money. So on your screen, I'm actually on youneedabudget.com. You'll first see that YNAB lets you actually try YNAB for free for 34 days. It's a fully functioning version. They say it takes 21 days to form a habit. I guess YNAB wanted to extend that fact and let you try it for 34 days. Cost on this, you can pay by the month. A yearly cost is about $50, but you'll see that it has a lot of value as we go forward. There are 4 basic rules in YNAB. First rule is you give every dollar a job. So when you get paid, have some sort of maybe financial investments, anything like that that brings money in, you actually give those dollars a job, whether that's for rent, car payment, groceries, dance classes for your children, whatever the case may be. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, embrace your true expenses. Now, the nice thing with YNAB is that true expenses are big bills. Suppose you pay your auto insurance every year, or Christmas time, you want to have a Christmas fund. You want to save $1,000 for Christmas, or maybe a vacation. Maybe you have homeowners insurance, things like that. Those are true expenses. They don't happen every month, but they're things that you want to save up for. Because the biggest challenge I personally have made is, or that I've seen for myself, is that I pay my auto insurance every year, for example, and it's a pretty expensive expense. So instead of having all the money, sometimes you have the ability to pay that bill, but you may put it on a credit card, and yeah, you get the bill paid, but now you have the expense of paying that credit card off. So the idea of YNAB is to help you be able to put money away for these larger expenses. Rule number 3, roll with the punches. It's a pretty simple statement that suppose you budgeted $100 a month for budgeting out. What you come to find out, maybe you spent $150. But what you can do in YNAB is actually take money from maybe you're saving for a new computer or something. You can actually roll with the punches and move money around with YNAB. So the last rule is age your money, rule number 4. So the longer you age money and keep money in your account without spending it, that's an aging process. So the older the age of your money, the longer you hold on to it, and the quicker you get out of debt if you're in debt. So what I'm going to do is click on my screen here. I've actually created, I call it the My House Budget. And if you notice, YNAB right out of the gate has a template set up where you have your immediate obligations: rent, mortgage, water, internet, groceries, transportation. And what I do, you can actually click on one of these values, and you can actually put when these items are due, like the date of the month. So the rent and mortgage typically on the 1st, so your electric bill is on the 8th of the month. And it just kind of gives you an idea, because the nice thing is the mobile app is really, really friendly as well. And I'm going to do a second video, follow-up video on that. showing you just how to interact with YNAB when you're out and about day to day all the time. So on the right side here, you have all the different categories, but on the left side, you're going to have an option here where you can add account, and you'll see here you can actually add institutions. So I'm just going to call this checking account, and let's say you have a balance of $2,000, and it's a checking account. So now you have a checking account of $2,000, and let's say we have a Visa account, just for the sake of argument here in the demonstration, and say you have $1,500 balance on that. So as you notice here, you can create a goal to pay off my balance over time. You can budget my entire balance, or you can skip for now. We're going to skip that for now, because what YNAB allows you to do is the ability to have a process in which you can pay this stuff off. You can have goals to saving money for a certain amount of time. So once you set up your account, the other thing to keep in mind is that YNAB will let you connect directly with your accounts, whether it's checking or credit card accounts. So when you get a transaction that comes in, those transactions then can actually be imported in the YNAB, and you can match them up. So in this case, we just have two offline accounts. We have a Visa account and a checking account. Let's add a savings just for the sake of the exercise here. So this is a savings account, and say we have $50 in our savings account. So we click on the budget, and we notice that we have $2,050 available to us. Anytime you have money up there in green, that's money that needs a job. So let's say we want to take 800 of this and move this to rent. So we click on that, and now notice the money is decreased, but when we go down to the category of rent and mortgage, $800 is assigned to the rent category. Now you can click it from there, or actually in the field. So the electric bill, let's say it's $200, and if you notice, the money continues to be decreased, and my water bill is, let's say, $85. And so they have a just for fun category: dining out, gaming, music, fun money. So I'm going to do, let's say, $100 for eating out. And they have one category here which I think is pretty helpful. It's called stuff I forgot. So sometimes you may budget for something and you may end up forgetting exactly where it was or what was coming up on you. But the stuff I forgot is a good category. So let's do one more. Let's do groceries. Let's say $400 a month for groceries, and our internet is, let's say, $125. So now let's just go ahead and move all the stuff I forgot. I'm sorry, the money, $340 left over, to the stuff I forgot category. So you notice everything's built in categories, and so you see the immediate obligations. And so if I wanted to add something here that was an immediate obligation, let's say I was paying for legal services that was due every month, I'd consider the immediate obligations something that is necessary every month, and you can add that category. So the amount, or the name, and also the date that it's due. And again, that's just a preference. You don't have to do that, but, and also you can drag these around, so you can drag this down. So when you look at my immediate obligations, you see that the rent is on the 1st, electric's on the 8th, water's on the 15th, the internet, let's say that's due on the 20th. So what I did, transportation, let's say that's my car payment. Let's say that's $250 a month. Oops. So that's on the 20th. Now, let's say I go ahead and assign $250 a month for my transportation. Notice now the to be budgeted field it's in the red. But remember this field, this stuff I forgot to budget. If I click on that, if I take $250, I can reassign where that money is supposed to go. So I just go up to transportation and I cover that from that standpoint, and I'm able to get that set up. And I have an issue here of that amount of money. Let's just take care of that right now. Let's see, to be budgeted. All right, so let's take this $350, put that in the stuff I forgot. So let's actually have a transaction. So let's go into checking and let's create a transaction. And again, if you have the import set up for your account, it'll automatically import this stuff. So let's say auto company, and the category is transportation, and it's $250. All right. So if you noticed here, what'll happen is that information will go into the account. So when we go back to the budget, notice we assigned $500 for transportation, but the activity, we see how we have the payment. So every time you have a transaction, that information gets added into YNAB underneath the account. So let's say we're going to pay our rent. So it's the first of the month, and we'll call it Mr. Landlord, and our category is rent, and it's $200. So now when we go back to the budget, we'll see that the available is now 0. However, when you look at, we budgeted $200 and we spent $200. This available category of, when it's in the green, that's saying that you've assigned that category of amount of money. And the idea is, as you step through your month, whenever you get money in, you set that up and say, okay, I'm going to send $200 for rent, $200 for electric, water, etc. And it goes down through that process. Now, let's say I had homeowners insurance, and notice here, like I have $250 assigned for transportation. Let's say I want to move 100 of that. Say my homeowners insurance is $1,200 a year, and what I'd like to do is set that up for basically sending $100 a month. So what happens is that it'll actually save that into that category. So whenever I come into my checking account and I have a transaction, renter's insurance, again, the category, you hit the drop down and you go down to, let's see, true expenses, there's $100. So you go back to the budget and go down to the renter's homeowner insurance, you'll see the activity of the $100 being spent. So there's also reports that you can actually see. You can actually see now we don't really have a lot of expenses at this point, but you can actually break down categories. You can see all the accounts as far as how much you spent over time. It's a simple program once you get used to it. They also offer online classes that are interactive, so you can actually get on a webinar with an instructor from YNAB. It doesn't cost you anything, and there's people from all around the world taking the class. You can actually interact with the instructor, and the classes are like 30 minutes, and they show you specific things dealing with debt, getting started with YNAB, a little bit more in depth than what I've shared here today. And the other thing is you can actually share YNAB and get YNAB free. So in the interface here, you have share YNAB, get YNAB free button. if you send out, um, if you get people to join up, you get a credit on your account, and I think it's a month every time someone joins up. So it's an easy program to work with. Takes a little getting used to, but really you kind of have an idea where your money is going at all times. So I appreciate your time today. Hope you have a great weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today is March 17th. If you like the video, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up, comment for it to your friends. And again, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon at the kitchen sink.